Kayla Harrison's waiting in the wings to come smash Juliana.
Mm-hmm.
But after that, dude, it was just, she looked so slick. It was in and out.
It's the most focused and determined I've ever been. Like, literally, I feel like I'm living like a fucking Dragon Ball Z character. I want to fight Jake Paul one day. I know Logan Paul, and I mingle with a couple celebrities.
Don't cuck us.
I'm sure you've heard the news, but not like this. Get ready to dive into what's happening in the world of MMA. We're your go-to spot for fight night predictions, fighter interviews, and all the behind-the-scenes action you crave. And now, the moment you've all been waiting for. Give it up for your host, the one and only Panda.
What's up, everybody? Daddy from Panda MMA News.
Big Poppy.
Here we have Big Sloppy. Some of you may know him as Big Poppy, but probably not many. It's probably really just because of his dogs. Yeah. So, we have we got a good interview for you guys today. We had on Trap Daddy Gambino. If you don't know about him, he's actually kind of an inspiration for bigger guys. The band, he said he started out as a movie star, right?
Yeah, started out in movies. The guy's done movies. He's done Dr. Phil. He's a fighter. He's done 420 high rollers. He's done a lot of different things, and he's still going too.
Yeah, and now he's making his comeback to not MMA, but come back to fighting. He's trying to go into the Influencer League, which you guys will hear about in the interview, but I'm just giving you a recap. But you'll find out who he's trying to call out in the interview, so stick around for that.
It's a great idea.
We're going to Zimbabwe. But yeah, so let's get right into this UFC card, guys. We just got done with UFC Fight Night, Tybura versus Spivak. So let's just recap the prelims here, or not the prelims, the main card. So the first fight on the main card was Toshiomi Kazama versus
Go for it, try it.
Charalampos Grigoriou. Google it if you need help, because I need help also. Pretty much we picked Toshiomi to win. Didn't know it would be by submission, but picked him to win. He looked damn good. That wasn't that his UFC debut?
Yeah, it was. And the first round he was completely dominant. In that second round, he comes in and he just got caught. I almost thought it was 9-8 for him. I was like, oh shit, we're done. We're cooked. Already off to a good start. And then he pulls out a cheeky triangle choke.
Like a Mackenzie Dern cheeky.
Yeah, as soon as he got you're funny, dude. As soon as he got that arm over to the other side, he didn't even have it all the way over, and the guy was already tapping. That's how you know he's a strong contender, and I look forward to seeing him fight again for sure.
Yeah, and also it's just because what is he? Is he Japanese?
Yeah, Japanese fighter.
Yeah, it's rare that you see a Japanese guy have really any sort of ground game at all. So that was kind of cool to see. But not much to say there. So we'll get into the next fight, which is Yana Santos versus Chelsea Chandler. Little backstory: Chelsea Chandler, when she weighed in yesterday, weighed in 5 pounds overweight. Don't know how that happens, but it happened. And usually when fighters weigh overweight, they win. But she did not. She lost in a decision.
Well, she's from Stockton, and there's some good food over there. She probably spent some time at Ray's Chicken and Seafood, and hung out with the Nate Diaz brothers a little bit too long, and which bums me out because she's local, and I had chose her to win. I think we both did.
We did,
and it didn't end up going that way. But it was a decision.
Yeah,
so not a total loss for us.
I think that was really our the only one. Well, actually, no, we actually lost a little bit more than that, but So the next fight is Chris Gutierrez versus Quang Lee. We picked Chris Gutierrez to win. That was actually a fun fight. Is pretty back and forth the entire time. Probably it might have been the fight of the night.
Yeah, it was exciting. Old dog just showing what it's like to be in the UFC. Was it Quang? It was Quang Bang Lee's first fight.
Yeah, because when we made the last podcast, he didn't have a picture yet.
Yeah, well, he's got a picture now, but it's just with a loss. But his career's not over. He looked good too, and he fought an experienced Chris Gutierrez.
Yeah,
and like we said, it might be a fight of the night. It was.
Chris is a hard fight to make your debut on.
It was a banger.
That's a very hard fight to make your debut on. So him losing to Chris, that's nothing to really be scoffed at. But the next fight on the card is Danny Barlow versus I'm just gonna say Nikolay because I can't say his last name. We picked Danny Barlow to win. Danny Barlow won by decision.
Kept that 0. He looked impressive. I love his. I don't know what his background is, but he almost has like a karate kind of Kajikembo maybe type
Like some
feel.
blitzing.
He does the blitzing. He almost has almost like a Whitaker's kind of style.
That bladed stance.
And you know what else? I like the hairstyle, man. He kind of gives me this like Star Wars Jedi kind of vibe.
Yep, he definitely the dark side. But we have
You fucking idiot.
that was a joke, guys. Don't come after me. The next fight we have is featherweight Damon Jackson versus Chepe Mariscal.
Dude,
we picked Damon Jackson to win here. We were going kind of experience and just I don't know. Featherweight. There's only a certain amount of fighters that are really exciting. So this one was kind of like whatever. It wasn't a bad fight, but this was kind of the night of decisions. Not much to say here other than Chepe got it done. Well, at the end, he actually pointed out, Big Sloppy pointed out, whenever Damon was in turtle position, he ate a punch and then fucking like pretty much gave up and then.
Well, so here's what happened. First of all, the grappling exchanges between these two was fucking top notch. It was sick to watch. It was really exciting. Chepe said in the beginning of the fight, he said that he saw a gap in Damon that he kind of gives up or kind of quits in between rounds sometimes, like he coasts a little bit, and that he's the machine gun and he was going to continue to be persistent. And that showed in the third round, especially in the end there, because what had happened is what he's talking about. He got hit with a clean one, Damon did, and he covered up like this, and he was like on his knees, covered up like this, and you could tell Chepe kind of thought it was over for a second. There was like almost a pause, but the ref didn't jump in, so he just smothered him and just started hitting him with more punches. I think they could have called it. That one could have easily been a TKO.
Yep, but it wasn't. So we'll move on to the main event.
The very quick main event.
Very quick main event. Marcin Tybura versus Sergey Spivak. We picked Tybura to win. He looked, at least in my opinion, he looked more impressive against a common opponent, Tai Tuivasa, than Spivak did. But Spivak went out there, dude. He got it done. He got a very quick armbar. There was a nice little grapple exchange going on there for a second, and we find out who was closer to the Dagestani border tonight.
Dude, he locked that armbar in with the quickness. Like that was quick work for a big boy. I was hoping to see a little bit more of stand-up exchange, but I'm happy with the submission.
Yeah. So, before we get into this,
quick and painless, like Richard's sex game.
Hey, man, I sting like a bee with no stinger, and I float like a butterfly without wings, dude.
Hey.
But let's before we get into this interview, I just want to kind of touch on this. Invicta FC was last night, guys. A friend of the show, Ali Pellegrini, made her pro debut. Looked fantastic.
Great job, Ali.
She had control over the fight wherever it went. She was dominating on the feet. When it went to the ground, it was clear domination. She took her down at will. On top of that, it was just really impressive to see her make her pro debut and do that against someone who has had 2 pro fights so far. She did acknowledge after the fight that she was going for the takedowns because the lady she was fighting was throwing some heat. Looking from the outside, obviously I'm not in there. It looked like Ali could have just done what she wanted. She was crisper on the feet. She was landing the better counter strikes. She just really looked good. And honestly, I'm sure everyone has seen the post by now because it's probably the most iconic fight from Invicta last night. But she had a busted nose after the fight, but it didn't come from a punch. It came from I'm pretty sure it came from a headbutt because she had I forgot her name, but she had homegirl's back, and she tried to shuck her off her. And when she tried to shuck her off her, it looked like she did like a head back butt and busted her nose up.
I think I saw that because she was riding a little bit high, but she's got those long legs, so she got away with it.
Yeah, but overall, dominant win. Congratulations, Ellie Pellegrini. We will have her back on here soon. I am very happy for her, especially in her pro debut. It's really exciting to see. She was one of our very first interviews, so I was pretty invested in seeing her fight and seeing her succeed. So that was pretty exciting. We also had one of the guests that stood us up was on that card, but I won't say the name. But Jennifer Maia looked fantastic, dude. She looked like almost a Muhammad Ali last night. She was fighting a bigger opponent who had way more power. That opponent arguably could have been juicing because she had a jawline stronger than mine or Sloppy's here. But Jennifer Maia got dropped one time, but after that, dude, it was just, she looked so slick. It was in and out, just fucking buzzsawing this lady. It was a very clean performance, and I actually watched it with my father. My father's down from Texas right now, and he actually turned around. He's like, "This is the best boxer I've ever seen in MMA," which is kind of high praises because he's a shit talker about MMA. But it was a fun fight. We're trying to get her on right now. We're in contact, so you guys will find out if that happens. Obviously, we're gonna post the interview. But I mean, aside from that, do you have anything else to say about last night's card or tonight's card?
While referring to Ali, I just was impressed by. I had a few takeaways. Her ability to utilize her range and how tall she is for that weight class was one takeaway.
Yeah, that teep was good.
Her grappling was phenomenal. She dictated that fight.
Looked like Habib almost.
Literally, through and through. But also her ability to take damage and continue to move forward, because she got hit with some pretty nasty body kicks a couple times, and it had me flinching. I was like, oof. And she just kept going forward. It did not slow her down at all. Yeah. So she was well prepared.
Ali Pellegrini will be in the UFC one day.
100%.
Whether that's in the next fight, next 3 fights, next 5 fights, it doesn't matter. I guarantee you she looked that good on her pro debut in Invicta. She will be in the UFC. There's no doubt in my mind. So I'm excited to just I'm excited to watch her career bloom. I'm excited to see her bloom more as a fighter, get more hard fights under her belt. It's an exciting time, and I'm really happy that when me and Big Sloppy here started this podcast, that she was one of our first guests, because it's almost like an invested interest,
Yeah, it's like I felt like we had skin in the game a little bit.
Yeah, and we didn't even bet on the fight, but it felt like we did almost. But yeah, so congratulations again to Ali Pellegrini. But besides that, I guess we're just going to get right into this interview. So here is Trap Daddy Gambino. Give it up for the man.
Whoa, dude, I thought that grinder was broke.
Not anymore. Thanks to Avalos Co., I was able to get the parts I need in order to repair my grinder so my business can go on as usual.
What else do they sell parts for?
Well, funny you should ask. They sell parts for your broken tools, sex toys, garden equipment, even parts for your computer so you can get back to the games of Halo with your virgin friends.
Okay, tell me more. Where do I purchase?
You can see what they have available exclusively at avalis-co.com. That's AVLIS-CO.com. Check them out to get your tools to entertain those certain family jewels back in working order today.
All right, guys, we are joined here by Trap Daddy Gambino. How's it going, my man?
Pretty good, man. Staying busy, but busy's always better than bored.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Well, I'll let Big Sloppy here get to the first question, and we'll kick this off.
This is feeling a lot like a cookout, a couple dads chilling, talking over some Modelo times.
We just need some like Modelo or a couple happy dads or something like that, right?
Yeah. Well, I'm not on a diet, so I drink Modelo.
Okay, I see you.
I'm drinking beatbox like a bitch, but that's all
right.
You
know what? I'm in pre-fight camp right now, so no alcohol for me until I get a knockout. So.
Oh, snap.
Fair enough. You don't want to pull a Jake Paul and drink like 16 days out before your fight?
If I was a millionaire and in as good shape and had the injections that Jake Paul can take and all that stuff, I probably would be partying a little bit harder than I am now. But unfortunately, I'm a broke fat guy, so I got to be pretty hard on myself.
Me too.
Hey, reach out to Paulo Costa, man. He'll get you some of that secret juice. He's
man.
good.
I'll be looking like
him
in no time.
I always say if I shave my chest, I'll look just like that guy, but...
Yeah, you can do like the... dude, I know I know a couple guys that shave like abs in their shit, and I think Bruce Buffer has been accused of getting like liposuction around his abs, so where it looks like he has abs, but he really doesn't. And if you look at those pictures, I don't know, man. I don't know.
I got enough body hair. I can make that happen, man.
Yeah, I got a whole
too.
keg.
Hey, me too, man. You and me, we're both in the heavyweight division, so.
Hey, me too, dude. I'm a skinny fat guy.
You're not involved in this.
Hey,
I'm on my way
235.
there. I'm on my way.
Hey, dude, I'm stoked that you're on. You wore a lot of hats, man. You've been in some movies. I seen the 420 high rollers. You've got a fighting career. Heavy hands. I was seeing you hitting the pads. I'm like, yeah, I don't want to get caught with one of those bad boys. It's 9-night. Out of curiosity, did the movie thing come first or did the fighting come first?
I had inspiration to come out here because of fighting, but the movie thing kind of got in the way first, and then I started acting, and I neglected like training and all that. That's when my wife took over, and she started fighting MMA, started doing jiu-jitsu, then eventually became a professional boxer while I was doing like the reality shows and the music videos and all the clout chasing shit. She was doing the serious shit, and then she got pregnant, and it was like, oh shit. Well, now what? Now it's like now it's my turn to take over, I guess. So then she stayed at home and took care of the kids while I'm out doing the real fighting and all that shit now. So I guess it kind of worked out. It worked out for the best.
Yeah. So how does that start? So like you just start shooting out resumes and like, hey, I'm good for this part, or how does that work?
So with the acting, it's this is, I don't know if you guys know who this guy is, but he fought in the UFC before. His name is Jason Reinhardt. And
That sounds so familiar.
Fought once in the UFC. He's a veteran. He's fought, I think, in Pride and K1, and he's a veteran of the sport. And he's I've been intertwined in the sport since like 2014 because I used to sponsor fighters and stuff. I sponsored Tanya Evinger when she won the world championship in Invicta. My logo was on her ass cheeks, so I thought that was pretty cool. When she got that
strategical
arm bar and
placement,
everything, it was dope. But yeah, man, I've been kind of intertwined in the sport from Ohio since 2014, and then I came out here, and I was like, still like kind of training and stuff, and I was talking to Jason Reinhardt, and he was telling me that I have the personality to get in the movies, and I was like, whatever, man. So I joined a Facebook group, and I got involved in this movie that ended up being like a Netflix production, and it was called The Outbreak. It was like a zombie film. It never got released or anything like that. But through that, I met like a bunch of producers and Holly Vegas producers out here. It's like a small Hollywood out here, and they're making like new studios and shit out here. Mark Wahlberg's moving out here, setting up a whole film studio, like a Paramount Studios, and it's blowing up in Vegas. And once you meet some people and they introduce you to other people, it's more like a who you know thing. And if you bust your ass and you got the personality, it's not too hard to make it in the entertainment business out here. It's still small and it's still growing. So it was the perfect time to get in. Right before COVID is when I was doing the best.
Okay,
Dude,
that's legit.
Well, shoot, you said you're married, so that kind of nullifies my question. I was going to ask, from one big guy to another, how are you getting all these hyenas all over you that I keep seeing on Instagram?
Well, you know what, man? To be honest, a lot of that is intentional promotion. And it's funny because I feel like that's one of the reasons that got me on the Dr. Phil show. And, I knew what I was doing, but still to this day, I get people thinking that I'm somebody I'm not because of the way I still sometimes promote myself on social media. Like, I'll have like a bunch of girls in a limo and shit. But the funny thing is, like, and my wife's not jealous about it. My wife, sometimes she'll set up these photo shoots and she'll tell the girls, like, hey, make sure you're really on them. Make sure you're all over them to make it look really good because she knows sex sells. So like as soon as the camera's off, I'm like, all right, you guys can get off me. You guys want to take
Get
your
off
own
your horse.
photos alone and shit. Like it's really strictly just business, honestly. I wish I had the confidence of like of like a player and shit, but I don't have that confidence and I don't have that poison, so that could be a good thing.
I'm sure that limo smelled like cocaine and doo-doo stains, huh?
It's in Vegas. It absolutely did.
Yeah, there's probably a couple. I don't even want to know what happened in that limo.
Yeah, you bounced out of there, dude. So yeah, you brought up Dr. Phil. So tell us about that, because that's another thing I wanted to talk about with you.
So when I came out here, obviously everybody wants to be somebody. I've always wanted to be somebody since I was a kid, whether it be a fucking rock star, a movie star, an MMA fighter, or a pro wrestler. And I've always just been chasing that fucking dragon like a heroin addict my whole life. and one day, speaking of the group that I told you I was involved in on Facebook, I saw a casting call for a Dr. Phil show that they were looking for people who were catfished by fake celebrity profiles. And that kind of had nothing to do with me, but I used that to manipulate the producers to like kind of wheedle my way into there. So I used the word catfish a million times, and there was fake profiles that were actually pretending to be me and like messaging like real UFC fighters, like fucking like Tito Ortiz and Frank Mir and shit, and like tell them I was gonna kick their ass. So like if they saw me at like a gym and shit, like sometimes I would have people come up to me and like, "Why are you talking shit? I'm gonna fuck you up." And I'm like, "What?" You know what I mean? So I've been kicked out of gyms and all kinds of shit because of fake like troll profiles. And I had, because I'm a fat guy and I talk a lot of shit, I have a lot of trolls out there, and they got their ha-has by doing that. So I sent that to Dr. Phil, and I used that to get my way in, and then I slowly but surely just made the show about myself so I could promote myself. I was just using it as a platform to promote myself, and I knew I was going to look bad. I didn't know I was going to look as bad as I did, but I knew I had to eat shit to, get on a certain platform, and I was willing to do that. And it got me a main event fight, and it got me a lot of followers, but, it got me a lot of a negative attention as well.
So
yeah,
you were kind of like
Phil, basically.
You were kind of like the Catch Me Outside girl without the OnlyFans.
Yeah. If I had bigger boobs,
Oh man, I love it. It's funny. I'm glad that you actually came on, because we started. It's called PandaMMANews because I'm a fat fuck. But I've done Muay Thai for 7 years.
Panda,
so yeah, Kung Fu Panda. I've done Muay Thai for 7 years. So
nice.
I know how to throw a couple kicks. I've never fought before, and we were watching a couple of your clips online, man, and that fucking power, dude. You know how to throw your hips and your shoulder into every freaking punch, and it's crazy to see, because like even just watching you hit the round mitt, you could just tell how much power is being generated there.
Yeah, I usually surprise people with that. I'm sure you're familiar with Dewey Cooper as a Muay Thai guy. I work with him sometimes out here, and he tells me, he's like, "Man, you and Francis are two of the guys that just fucking like smash these fucking pads." He trains with Francis Ngannou, and hopefully I'll hit as hard as him one day, man. I'm working on it, but I'm hoping this power resonates into the cage or the ring. It has once, but I still got a lot of proving myself to do, and I'm hoping to do that with everybody really soon as maybe even October.
So you brought something up. You said you're in camp, and I saw people on the internet saying, "Oh, you're back. Like, tell us about that. You got a date, an opponent, and an organization?"
So I don't have any date. I don't have any opponent. I have a couple promotions that's been reaching out to me. So I'm doing influencer boxing now, which is I'm looking for the biggest name with the least amount of skill to get me as close as I can to honestly. I know this sounds fucking far-fetched, but everything I've said until I got here was far-fetched. So I want to fight Jake Paul one day. And I know I have a lot of work to do. Everybody wants to fight Jake Paul. I have a lot of work to do. I have a lot of clout to chase. I have a lot of chins to check, and weight to lose. But I want, that's the goal. I want to fight the biggest influencer with the least amount of skills one by one until I get to Jake Paul. If he has skills, I guess that's a bonus for them. But you know,
Dude.
I'm not banking on it with these guys.
How tall are you?
I'm only 5'11". I'm pretty short.
Okay, so yeah, once you get near
I'm a
Jake Paul,
short super heavyweight.
he'll accept you. You're not towering over him. So
Yeah, yeah. I'm fat. I'm short. I don't have much experience. Like he should, you know, definitely take this fight.
Hey, I'm 5'9". I'm fat too. Jake Paul, if you're listening to this, me and Trap Daddy, same. We'll come at you the same time, dude.
We'll
You're
do a
in
tag
shape.
team match.
Yeah.
Hey man, you know you should put a hit out on like DJ Khaled or Rick Ross or some of those guys, some of those big name celebrities that they talk this big game. What I mean? You'd sleep them in a heartbeat.
as soon as I get to the position where I'm able to call these big names out, I'm definitely going to. But I made the mistake of so I did security work and stuff back in the day for a couple celebrities. So I know Logan Paul, and I mingle with a couple celebrities and influencers, and I made the mistake of calling out Logan Paul one day on my Instagram, and I just looked like a jackass because I'm like this fucking nobody with 40,000 followers calling out Logan Paul. Like he probably didn't even see it, you know what I mean? But I'm humble enough to know that I have a lot of work to do, and man, I'm on the road, and I feel like if I just keep doing what I'm doing, eventually I'm going to get there.
So is MMA off the table now? Because you said you're going to influence boxing. Are you done with MMA? And have you considered the Karate Combat Influencer League?
I didn't even know there was a Karate Combat Influencer League. That's crazy.
Yeah, they have one. We had Sam Alvey on last week, and we just asked him if there's an influencer he considered doing the league with.
Sam Alvey. He was he was in the back of a card that my wife was competing on, and that dude is always fucking smiling too. He's great. I think he lives out here in Vegas too.
No, he lives in Tennessee. I just sent him some gear. Yeah.
Okay, I saw him out here in Vegas.
Yeah, he's out there all the time.
I didn't know Karate Combat had an influencer league. You know, to be straight up honest, boxing to me is way easier as the older you get and the bigger you are. Boxing is easier, and maybe if I lose a lot more weight, I'll get back into MMA. I did fight MMA, and I did do pretty well, but every time I went to the ground, man, I was not a ground guy. And it's funny because I competed on really big stages with grappling, and I failed every single time. But it's just like it's so much. It's chaotic, and like when I talk about MMA, I think of chaos, and when I think of boxing, I think of like poetry. It's
like
just
art.
so different. And I like to dance, so I think boxing. I don't know. I think boxing is just easier, and I'll probably stick with boxing. And
what
more
kind of
money
dancing are we
for
talking
now.
about? Break dancing?
Yeah. Hey, there's probably good money in fat guy breakdancing nowadays.
Dude, I'm about to get in that shit.
So, I before talking to you, I've seen the high rollers 420 jiu-jitsu tournaments, and I thought it would just look cool as hell because one, I smoke, and two, I love jiu-jitsu. So I'm like, you're gonna put two of my favorite things and roll it into one event, literally. How do you get into that, and how often are they doing it? And is it, is there any possibility one day, I can see myself smoking a little weed and rolling on that mat?
Man, you should definitely come by, and they got like open mats and shit all the time and stuff, and a lot of stuff they don't post because you're in the gym, and if there's weed all around and shit, there's a lot of loopholes to get away with this event.
Yeah.
And so I knew about it for a while, and then I saw that they were having this celebrity jiu-jitsu event, and there was this guy who was supposed to fight. Do you know who Supreme Patty is? He's like this influencer who like squeezes.
I know Patty the Batty.
Yeah. Well, he's known for like squeezing like lime juice in his eyes and wearing Supreme and shit all the time. He has like a couple million followers.
He's a crackhead.
He was supposed to fight, and then he fell out. So they contacted me within like 10 days notice. So I was like, man, I'm down. Hell yeah! Like I get to fight this other. It was like this other YouTuber guy, this TikToker guy with like a couple thousand followers. So I was like, hell yeah! Like I don't even just I like in my mind I don't even deserve to be on that stage. So I took the opportunity. I came. I showed up. I showed out. I got choked out, but I had a blast doing it, man. And they loved having me. So I played the role of a big, shit talker very well, and then got choked out in like 40 seconds.
Hey, it happens, man. But
Yeah.
actually, it's just a win getting on the mat. Personally,
Man,
I think so. And
yeah, I really thought I was gonna do better than that. Like I really did, but like I went in there. We started smoking weed. I'm not gonna use that as excuse. My opponent was high as hell too. So, but it is weird smoking weed with your opponent, like literally like seconds before you get on the mat and like try to kill each other. You know what I mean? Because it's different than just competing because it's like you're in a cage and there's like a bunch of people around like fucking watching and I don't know, it felt more vicious than jiu-jitsu, but when you put the weed into it, it takes all the viciousness out and you just want to you get them in a headlock and you're like, man, your hair smells delicious today. You know what I mean?
It
Like,
does.
is that Old Spice?
yeah, it makes me too relaxed, man, so I probably won't do that again.
Yeah, I personally myself, I enjoy smoking before going into the jiu-jitsu room, just because I feel like I can be laser focused and I'm focused on all the minor details.
Yeah.
But I know what you mean, where it's like all eyes on you, where that could kind of take away from it, and maybe it builds a little anxiety, so it takes away from your abilities.
There's an event out here that I was just a part of. I helped promote. It was called Mike Tyson 2.0 Hot Boxing, and it was so I thought high rollers was crazy. This shit was nuts. They had these those giant gloves that are like, I don't know, like 2 pounds each. Those
I saw a clip of this on
comical
your
gloves.
Instagram.
Yeah, and they're in a boxing ring, well, a floatable boxing ring, inflatable boxing ring, and they have a guy on the outside with a leaf blower filled with marijuana, just blowing it into the ring as they're boxing. And my coach is the referee, and I'm sitting there watching this shit from the VIP. Like, how the fuck are they even breathing in there? I got picked up from the Uber, and the Uber was like, dude, I could see the smoke throughout the whole city. We thought like something like downtown was on fire. Some shit. It was the craziest thing I've ever seen in my life, and I might just be a part of that just because it's so fucking nuts. Like, why not?
Yeah, definitely. You could be the star of that.
Yeah, that'd be fun to fight in. But I mean, man, I don't know how I'm not gonna pass out. I'm gonna be honest. Like, I smoke a lot of weed, but that's fucking ridiculous, dude.
Yeah, I take a dab and I'm out. But I kind of wanted to. Would you be able to run us through your day? Training for an influencer boxing match, trying to cut weight. What does your workouts look like? How many times a day are you working out? And kind of like what is it, a diet? What kind of diet goes into cutting weight? Like you're trying to cut.
So my diet's so different because I have really, really bad acid reflux, and it was to the point where it was like affecting my whole life. So I had to like fix it myself, and I use a lot of like digestive enzymes and stuff like that to fix it. But so my day, pretty much for pre-fight camp so far, I'm not doing any sparring or anything like that. It's just like weightlifting and all that. I'll wake up around like 6, hit the gym around like 9, and then I'll do like 2 or 3 hours at the gym, come home, eat, sleep, do some work on the laptop, do the side gigs, and do all that shit out the way, deal with the kids, the wifey and the family. And then I'll go to sleep again around like 3 to like maybe like 7. And then I'll wake up, my coach picks me up. So the first session I'll go by myself. Second session, the coach picks me up. These are 5 days a week, twice a day. Coach picks me up. We train for about 2 or 3 hours again, and then I go home, stay up till about fucking like 6, do it all over again. Yeah, man, I basically sleep twice a day, train when I'm not sleeping, and that's my life right now. Train, eat, sleep, work a little tiny bit, and hopefully stay focused.
That's crazy, dude.
It's the most focused and determined I've ever been. Like literally, I feel like I'm living like a fucking Dragon Ball Z character. And
Oh, you're a Dragon Ball fan.
yeah, oh yeah. And it's only because I can afford to. Like my whole life, I've been pretty much like broke and shit, like near homeless. And now I got like a couple businesses going and shit, and now I can actually like live like a fucking like a samurai. So that's what I'm trying to do, and hopefully my body represents that eventually. I've lost 38 pounds in the last couple months.
Nice. Nice.
I'm down to 350. I'm hoping to be down to 330 by the end of this next 25 days, and then 300 by the time I fight.
Okay. Well, you know, I need to touch on this because you brought it up. You said you're a Dragon Ball fan. How big of a fan are you?
Quiz me.
Well, the reason why I brought it up is because I have a Dragon Ball tattoo. I went to the red carpet premiere for. Yeah, it's
that's dope.
It's a Namekian dragon.
That's fucking cool. Yeah, I can tell.
Yeah,
yeah, the jacked one, right?
Yeah, I went to the red carpet premiere for Battle of Gods, the red carpet premiere for
cool.
Resurrection F. I'm a humongous fan, but
I'm trying to see if there's a picture in here. No, there's not. But my wife has, I think it's the 4-star Dragon Ball right here on her shoulder.
Oh,
yeah, she has a Dragon Ball tattoo. It's really cool. I gotta send it to you after this. But yeah, we're huge Dragon Ball Z fans. I even forced my little one to watch it all the time. So I'm trying to brainwash him a little bit.
You ready for Dragon Ball Daima?
I was out as soon as the Cell Saga hit. I'm not gonna lie. Like,
okay, so you haven't like caught up on Super or anything.
I've watching in the background, but honestly, after Namek, I'm really into it until Namek, and then after Frieza, I feel like that's when it should have ended. You know, I'm one of those guys.
Okay, so after Super Saiyan, you cut out.
yeah, pretty much.
Okay.
Yeah, I think that was the time where I started like going to jail as a kid or some shit.
You got anything else?
Well, yeah, that's not my world, so I couldn't really chime in on that conversation. Although I do love Dragon Ball Z, I don't know, something in this retarded brain of mine being a small town kid, I just can't fucking put the storyline together to save my life. Dude, actually, truthfully, I can't really stay awake watching stuff like that, which is crazy because it's total chaos, but I'll legit just pass out. I'm just not good.
It's hard for me to watch movies and shit nowadays, especially after acting in movies and seeing like how everything's done. I got Netflix. All I watch is like documentaries and shit like that, like real shit. I can't watch movies. I don't know. I just can't do it. Everything sucks nowadays too. So
nowadays I'll just throw on a podcast and I'll just, you know what I mean? I'll just throw a headphone in or whatever. I'll put it on the TV and it's background noise.
Everybody's got fucking ADHD, including me nowadays. I don't give anything a fucking chance more than 5 minutes.
Right? If you haven't got my attention in 5 minutes, it's over. We're going to the next one.
Exactly.
Yeah. I've had that issue the past couple of months trying to schedule fighters and stuff as guests. I'll start watching a movie and all of a sudden I'll get a message, and as soon as I'm done messaging, the movie's over. I don't know what the fuck happened.
Yeah, man. Yeah, my attention's everywhere, especially being here in Vegas. It's pulled a million different places. Vegas is like, I don't know. It's a different place, that's for sure.
I would die if I lived in Vegas. I have too much of a desire to ski in the summer.
Yeah, a lot of people don't know you can do that here. In more ways than one.
Actually, this guy doesn't even sleep when he goes to Vegas.
Yeah, I'm up for 5 days.
It's not till we head out to White Castle and get our White Castle on the way out of that place. That's when he falls asleep.
I know so many people who come out here and they're totally clean and everything when they're at home, and as soon as they get to Vegas, they're hitting me up like I'm a fucking drug dealer or something. Like, hey man, like, hey, can you get this? Can you get that? I'm like, dude, calm down. It's Vegas, but it's not fucking like Amsterdam. You know what I mean?
Well, do you have anything else?
I appreciate you hopping on, dude. It's been cool.
I appreciate you having me, man. This is really fun.
Yes, sir. You are definitely one of our favorite guests we've had on so far.
Thank you.
We'll end the call here, but if you could just stay on after so your side can upload, and we'll have that beautiful 1080p quality.
I got you, brother.
Awesome. Well, thank you very much, sir, for joining us. I can't wait to see what you do next. I can't wait to see you fight an influencer. I don't know what the fuck they're going to do with the power you have,
I'm
but
gonna knock his head off for you guys. I promise.
do the panda dance on his dead body.
Rip his
I
dick and
got you,
twist.
man. I got you.
All right, brother. Appreciate you.
Whoa, dude. Where'd you get that totally throbular shirt from?
Funny you should ask. I got it from Panda MMA News merch store. We have all sorts of merch to choose from, including our brand new Live, Laugh, Throb shirt from episode 4. We have dog collars, dog beds, limited edition shirts, hats, coffee mugs, and more. So what are you waiting for? Come throb with us at PandaMMAnews.com. Just click the merch tab and check out all our great product.
Throbbing is known to cause health issues for both male and females above the age of 40. So do not use PandaMMAnews.com without prior doctor consent. Please throb responsibly.
All right, guys, that was Trap Daddy Gambino. Great guy. I can't wait to watch him fight again. And a true inspiration for big guys. I'm a bigger guy. See him, succeeding and still fighting. He hasn't fought in a while, from what I understand. And so for him to be trying to make a comeback, and I've seen his diet and what he's the sacrifices he's making on Instagram and everything. So it is an inspiration. So super excited to see him fight. Thank you, sir, for joining us. Can't wait to have you back on. Maybe leading up to your fight or after. Either way, can't wait to have it. But let's get into current events, guys. I'll share my screen for this.
Such a dope personality, man. He's already done so much impressive stuff. I can't wait to see what his journey looks like.
Yeah, I agree. So we got Robert Whitaker demanded Khamzat Chimaev fight rebooking. I love disrupting their plans. So pretty much, we all know this. So Whitaker dominated a Dagestani who filled in last second. And I think he's just feeling himself now. And I personally think when he first took the Khamzat fight, obviously, he had like doubts in his mind, like, fuck, what if he does get it done in the first round or whatnot? But I think after what he did to
Ikram.
Yeah, Ikram. Thank you. I couldn't even remember his name. After what he did to Ikram, I just think that he has that confidence with him now. And it being a 5-round fight, I think Khamzat's going to gas. I think Whitaker's going to get it done. And as long as DDP wins, we'll see Whitaker fight for the title. If Adesanya wins, probably not. Even if you believe he won the second fight, which I personally do, it's just not likely. I don't think UFC will go that route.
Yeah. I think it's a win-win for Khamzat. I think if he loses, it's a good thing because it'll probably create hunger with him. And sometimes with fighters that got paid, that's exactly what they need to get them back on like the right track and get him right on the right horse. But if he wins, obviously he's the next contender. He's going straight for a title shot. Whoever wins against DDP versus Adesanya.
But bro, what happened to the fighters like Usman, man? That he made all the money, undefeated for what was like 6 or 7 fights. He defended his championship, and he never lost sight of what he was doing and the hunger. Yeah, he ended up getting beat by a Hail Mary, and then because that Hail Mary landed, he was a little hesitant to, for the rematch. But I think I just think that Hail Mary didn't land, and Leon somehow pulled out the win. They rematched. I think it would have gone differently. I think that thought of that head kick really fucked with Usman. I don't think Usman's done yet.
I don't think so either. He should have took a little bit more time off. That's all it was.
Yeah, which now he's taking plenty of time off, and now they're targeting Jack Della Maddalena versus Usman for 309. So
Banger.
Looking forward to that. We already talked about that, so we won't get into that. But let's get into this next one. This one I am personally excited about. I think it's a very good matchup for both guys.
Matchup.
This is probably the best matchup for Anthony Smith we've seen in a while. This is targeted for 310 in December. Anthony Smith versus Dominic Reyes. Dominic Reyes, he did look somewhat good in his last fight. Obviously, he got the finish. Anthony Smith, he's been kind of hot and cold. He looks good 1 second. Next second, he's, looks like he doesn't really belong there. I'm not going to talk shit on Anthony Smith, though, because I love the Believe You Me podcast. But I think this is, for light heavyweight, in the current standing, I think this is his best matchup that could be made. I think this is the most fair.
100%. This is going to be actually a really great competitive fight for both guys. Dominic's going to be facing a name in the division, Anthony Smith. He's been doing it for a long time. Lionheart and Dominic Reyes coming off of a win, kind of getting the win in his sails again, basically. He came out and said, you know what, I'm just gonna go after the John Jones fight. I wasn't fighting like myself. I was really hesitant, and what you saw in this last fight was me getting back to like the basics. And so, yeah, this is gonna be a fire matchup, dude. I can't wait to see it.
Yeah, it'll be good. The only finish I can think that happened to Anthony in the past couple fights was when he fought Roundtree. I think that was the only actual like finish.
Mm-hmm.
I know his last fight he lost, but that was like almost like a domination thing. That wasn't a finish.
Well, yeah, but it was 3 rounds, one-sided.
Yeah, but what I'm saying is he's hard to knock out. I think.
Yeah.
I think Reyes is going to have a hard time finding that shot. Reyes is very athletic, so who knows? But also, who knows how bad those 3 or 4 knockouts in a row? Who knows how bad that's weighing on him? You know, here, like I said, I love Anthony Smith. I would like to see Reyes get it done because Reyes is the younger guy. Reyes has the he has the longer career ahead of him versus Anthony, who probably has a couple more years. He has a family to feed, so he'll probably fight a couple more years regardless of the record. But Reyes, I would like to see him win just because it's going to kind of push the division a little bit more. And I would like to see UFC keep feeding him matchups like this where he's not going in against guys who are just going to fucking one-shot starch him. Let him build his confidence back so he's back to that championship mindset. And then, we'll talk about him going against, Pierre or whoever's the champion at that time.
Don't give him the Yawns, the Yeris, the Ryans.
Let him build his way back up, dude. There's plenty of light heavyweights that don't have the finishing rate of the guys that he fought before.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. A couple good bouts, confidence builders to show that he's still in it.
Yeah, exactly. But regardless, with that being said, I will still root for Anthony Smith because I am a huge fan of the Believe You Me. Him being part of the team, he's got me rooting for him. But as far as the division as a whole, I'm rooting for Reyes for the division as a whole. Plus, also on top of that, Anthony Smith has been in the UFC forever. He's kind of had his time in the sun. He's made a good amount of money, and he's also on the broadcasting team of ESPN. He's got shit going on. He doesn't really need this. I feel like Reyes needs this.
Yeah, that's a good point.
Yeah. So this next one, I'm not going to play a video for you guys because I got to figure out our sound configuration on why the videos aren't playing sound. So I'll just kind of give you kind of a rundown of what was going on. Tom Aspinall was being interviewed about, John Jones versus Stipe. And he pretty much referred to they need a Joe Biden Stipe and get him out of there and him be the Kamala Harris and him go in. And
Tom's words, not ours.
Yeah, Tom's words. But yeah, I thought that was kind of funny. I 100% agree. I want to see the Stipe versus John fight less than any other pay-per-view fight I can think of. There's no pay-per-view. Well, actually, I take that back. If Raquel Pennington versus Juliana Pena is the main event for 307, I'd rather see Stipe versus John. I say this. I'm going to say this. I fucking hate Julia Pena. I fucking hate her. I can't stand her. I hate the fact that she's so entitled. I hate her fucking voice. I can't stand it, dude. Amanda Nunes is sitting there retiring after a long career and getting a win. And she's sitting there fucking just throwing a goddamn fit like a fucking...
Get it off your chest, pal.
Like I can't even say the word because we'll get canceled. But I just can't stand her, dude. If that is the main event, I'm gonna watch because we have an MMA podcast. I'm a fan, but I'm not gonna be happy about it, dude. I don't want to see Juliana Pena as champion. The only reason why I want to see Juliana Pena win this belt against Raquel Pennington is because Kayla Harrison is waiting in the fucking wings. Kayla Harrison's waiting in the wings to come smash Juliana.
Mm-hmm.
And she is pissed at Juliana. Juliana accused her of doing steroids, and she's not too happy with those accusations. I'm not going to sit here and judge her past off her physique and all that, but she came out and said she's a part of steroid testing from the UFC, but she said she's never used steroid enhancing drugs. She was in the Olympics, never tested for it. PFL, never tested for it. UFC, never tested for it. So Kayla Harrison is the champion of that division.
Dude, I've been watching her for a minute in PFL, and I was always telling you, like, dude, this chick would be the one for Amanda Nunes. This is the matchup.
She's who will bring Amanda Nunes out of retirement.
100%. And you're so right by that. And I'm excited because I guarantee you Amanda will be watching on the sidelines going, okay, I have a reason to come back now.
Well, last time she fought, Amanda Nunes was tweeting like all excited, like she had a new challenge ahead of her.
Yeah, exactly. She's like, ooh, a new toy.
Yeah.
Except Kayla Harrison's not just a new toy. She's a badass woman. Amanda Nunes is too. No discredit to her.
Kayla Harrison's a bad bitch, but I think she's actually slightly older than Amanda Nunes.
But you know what? Maybe she is. I'm not sure about that. But I was gonna say that Kayla Harrison going into that Holly Holm fight, man, that weight cut looked terrible
and she
on her.
dominated.
I was so worried. I'm like, God, hopefully when she hydrates, she snaps back into it and she's fine. But yeah, when she got on the scale, I'm going, oh God,
okay.
she was skin and bones looking.
Amanda Nunes is 2 years older than her, but it's also Amanda Nunes. She's the women's GOAT. I don't know who I'd have in that fight. I think as of right now, if that fight does happen, we'll make an official prediction video. But as of right now, where I'm at, I would have Kayla Harrison just because Kayla Harrison's in the game. She's hungry. She wants the belt. But if Kayla Harrison wins the belt, who knows? Amanda Nunes might get that hunger back.
I think so. I think she comes back just out of inspiration. If anything, she'll be inspired to come and have
or spite.
Yeah, maybe a little bit of both, but I think more inspiration because I don't take Amanda Nunes as the type of person who gets jealousy or envy. I think it's, if anything, the competitor she is, it would just excite her to want to get in the octagon and try it out with somebody she hasn't already had to beat like two and three times, Yeah,
and that is true because Valentino Shevchenko, perfect example. Amanda Nunes fought her twice. Clearly won the first fight, but the second fight was controversial. A lot of people thought Valentino Shevchenko won. But whenever that idea of them doing a third was floating around, Amanda Nunes did not shy away. She was down for it. It was Dana White that turned it down. So I agree with you that I think, she sees that challenge and that gets her going. And honestly, just saying what you just said to me, comprehending it as I'm going, I agree, and that makes me even more excited for the Kayla Harrison thing because it lets you know that she's a true martial artist. She's about the challenge. It's not just about money. She has money. She doesn't give a fuck about money. But yeah, so we'll move on to the next one because we kind of went on a riff there. Next one, this one doesn't really require me to share a screen. Anyone who's in the know already knows this, but UFC 305 in Perth, Australia, Dominic Cruz is going to substitute for Joe Rogan. If you're in the know, Joe Rogan runs a podcast, owns a comedy club, is a comic. He's very busy. He only commentates fights in the States, just strictly, obviously, because he's booking guests nonstop for his podcast, which is understandable. But for the casuals out there, if you stumble upon this video, at least you know that. This next one though is actually kind of a tasty one. So Davison Figueiredo. He says Sean O'Malley is an easier matchup than Merab. I'm not gonna say his last name because I don't want to be an idiot. He's an easier matchup than Merab and Umar Nurmagomedov. It kind of depends on how you're looking. Figueiredo did look good, but at the same time, Figueiredo's a lot smaller. He's not going to be able to close that distance as easy with O'Malley as he did with Cheeto or drawing blank. Last opponent, Cody Garbrandt.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, okay.
He's not really close that distance as fast or as easy. O'Malley's very good at keeping distance. He's very good with those teep kicks. He's very good at keeping you guessing by looking over his shoulder, making you guess that spinning kick's coming. Very powerful for that weight class with his hands. He honestly, if O'Malley plays everything right, O'Malley has the tools to be champ for a while. The major question, I think O'Malley smokes Figueiredo, just FYI. The major question though is Umar and Merab. I think because Merab is susceptible to the lead hook and he's shown that he kind of has somewhat of a glass jaw, I think he gets the Merab fight done. Umar's the real question, and that's where if O'Malley, we know his striking is crisp. If he has a takedown defense, he's going to win the fight as long as Umar can't take him down. But as soon as Umar starts imposing his force in the grappling and a takedown attempts, all that, it's going to start signing to Umar. So We've already given you guys kind of the rundown on this. We'd love to see O'Malley starch Umar because that would be fun to see him rubbing it in Connor's face. And he's trying to build a Connor fight, if you haven't noticed.
Mm-hmm.
That just builds up to that.
So I think Figgy, I mean, he looked great against Cheeto, but I don't think he looked as good as Sean O'Malley did against him. And in that third round, Cheeto started to get his wind, and he was actually starting to get his timing down, and it was starting to look like, okay, if there was 2 more rounds here, it could have been the Cheeto show. So I think that's a bold claim. He's high on a win right now, but I don't see it being the case. I think he has a hard night with any of those 3 guys.
Yeah, which just FYI, if you watched the video before Abu Dhabi, I picked Davison to beat Cheeto, but my reasoning was it's a 3-round fight. Cheeto's a slow starter. And as we talked about in the last podcast, I even said, I thought Cheeto won round 2. I don't know why he lost round 3, but I thought he won round 2. And I kind of saw it started going towards Cheeto's way. And if that was a 5-round fight, I firmly believe Cheeto would have got the win. I don't think Cheeto would have been able to finish him, but I think Cheeto would have edged out a decision. But that's not what we got. Cheeto already knows he's a slow starter. Cheeto said that they were pretty much what Cheeto said. The reason why he's a slow starter is because he doesn't warm up before the fights. So he said he's going to make it a point to warm up before Figgy because it's a 3-round fight. Well, I don't know if he did or not, but it didn't work. And that's just, I love Cheeto, but if it's a 3-round fight, dude, he's going to lose. If it's anyone in the top 10 and it's a 3-round fight, he's going to lose. Cheeto is like Nate Diaz. He needs 5 rounds.
Yeah, I agree. Some fighters they just don't get their stride until the later rounds.
Yeah, and that's all good. I mean, those are some of our favorite fighters. I love Cheeto. I think he's a very exciting fighter. I just know that anyone who is in the top 10, it's just 3 rounds isn't his game. He doesn't do that.
Then there's other fighters like Hamzat where if he doesn't get it done in the first or
he
second
needs 3
round,
rounds.
You know what I mean?
Yeah. I think his only 5-round fight was Gilbert, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So he looked, I mean, honestly, it could have gone either way. I personally thought Gilbert won that fight because Gilbert, this was years ago, so I'm kind of just drawing off memories that I think I remember, but I'm pretty sure that Gilbert dropped him twice. And then they went to the ground one time. Chimaev felt the attempt of an armbar there, and he decided, I don't want to be here anymore. And it was just a stand-up battle from there.
Yeah, that's pretty much how it went.
Yeah. So like I said, he's only gone 5 rounds one time. He hasn't fought. Who was the last person? What was it? Kevin Holland? Was that no? It was Kamaru Usman.
Yeah.
Last person.
Hamzat?
Yeah.
Kamaru Usman.
Last person he fought was Kamaru Usman, and once again, a controversial decision. I thought it should have been a draw. I just didn't see how I could have saw more of a way for Usman to get the win over Hamzat, because Hamzat only won 1 round.
Mm-hmm.
Usman dominated the fight after the first round. So I think he's just kind of given favorable wins. I think he's getting some of that Dana White privilege. But I don't think he's going to get that anymore because of the fact that he's kind of fucked over the UFC, 3 fights now?
Pretty much. I think they're like, yeah, you want Whitaker?
Yeah. All right.
You want Whitaker?
Go get Whitaker.
We're going to give you Whitaker.
And I think he firmly believes he can beat Whitaker, but I'm telling you right now, you're going to see a masterclass. And fucking check me if I'm wrong, dude. Get in the comments, talk shit. But I'm telling you right now, I firmly believe Whitaker is going to make it look easy after round 1. I think Whitaker's going to fucking dominate him.
Yeah. I'm excited to see it, man. I really am. I'm really curious after all this freaking time. Like, what does he look like?
Yeah.
You know, because he just, in his voice, he just feels like he doesn't have that same spirit anymore.
Yeah.
So we'll see. I'm excited for it. That's why we're fans here.
Yeah, I'm excited for it too. But I think that's pretty much all we got for you guys today. It was a shit fight week, shit fight card. Invicta, honestly, I think the Invicta fights were better than the UFC fights tonight. But again, shout out to Ali. Very proud of you. Can't wait to have you back on. I'm glad. I'm personally glad to say that you're a friend of the show. Like I said, one of the first interviews. So can't wait to keep watching the success. Thank you, Trap Daddy Gambino, for your time. We appreciate it. Can't wait to see your upcoming fight. Aside from that, guys, we have another interview that we did today. John Davis, the middleweight power slap champ, but that will air on Thursday night's episode. So keep a lookout for that. And Thursday night, we will break down 305 and get into our picks and all that, just so we have something to talk about.
And guys, if you're watching this and you don't subscribe and you don't comment, somebody told me that you probably like little boys. So let's not go there.
I'm going to put that at the beginning of the video before the intro as one of the clips, just so they see it.
Hey, let's not go there, guys. Don't be cucking us.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? We don't need to go there. Where you do need to go is smash the like button, smash the subscribe button,
And go to PandaMMAnews.com and buy some merch.
buy some merch. We got panda tears. We got dog collars. We
Panda
got
fur.
dog mat. Hey, you want it? We got it.
Yeah, if I don't have it on the website, dude, just send us a message. We'll fucking make it
We'll
happen.
find a way.
Find a way.
Come get you some.
Come get you some. But until then, guys, make sure you follow us on TikTok, Panda MMA News. Follow us on X, Panda MMA News. Follow us on Instagram, Panda MMA News 1. Subscribe to this fucking channel. I don't want to keep fucking telling you guys. We're getting hundreds of views, but we're getting very few subscribers, and it's starting to fucking really irritate me. I'm about to pull a Jay and
We'll
Silent
find
Bob.
you.
I was about to say, we're about to pull a Jay and Silent Bob. You and me are about to invest every dime we have to buy plane tickets, and we're going to show up at your fucking house. So subscribe. We don't want to do it.
Don't make us do it.
Don't cuck us.
Don't fucking make us do it.
But until then, guys, stay cool and don't watch from the corner like Ian. Peace out.
Later.